Australians are earning less and saving more. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian Heiser here and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. I have my morning stein of coffee that I'm still working through, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au, which is discussing, well, a concerning sign of the recession that we're in at the moment. And this is regarding, well, Australians are saving, Australians are getting worried, but we're also earning a lot less, and well, it just shows you wage growth has been terrible, frankly, since the GFC. Now, if you look at the figures, you look at our population growth, and you combine it, the data from our population growth with our GDP growth, Australia's economic growth has actually been depressed since the GFC. We have been growing, but we've been growing below trend. So that means the growth, remember we're fighting inflation here, that means the growth has been worse off for all of us. So let's have a look at this. The Australian recession. Graph that rings economist alarm bells. Australia is officially in recession, and it hasn't seen one since the 90s. There's one graph that should have economists' alarm bells ringing. Okay. Household saving to income ratio rose by 2%, which is very bad signs for times to come. So people are getting worried. Consumer confidence. Look at that, guys. It's like the GFC. And remember, we're in the beginnings of this. So consumer confidence, it's given that it's in the gutter. Business conditions and confidence have plummeted. Now, there are some businesses that are going to do well during this recession, particularly with the government stimulus, the sink, the laundry tub, everything they're chucking at construction and housing and government projects. But Australians are worried. I have been saving like a madman. I've been quite concerned with what's going to happen. What have you been doing? What have you been stashing away? Where have you been cutting costs? I should do a video, 5 tips on where to save money. I was even at one stage, I've got piles of scrap metal in the yard that I'll take to the scrap yard, and it's embarrassing how little you get for scrap steel, but still, it's official. Australia is in a recession for the first time in 29 years. And there's one graph in today's national accounts that tells the story of why the great toilet paper buying pandemic spree of 2020 didn't save the nation's economy from going backwards. I mean, I'm laughing at that, but it was, frankly, what they were hoping could have just avoided a recession. Remember, technically a recession is 2 quarters of negative growth. If that March spending spree of everyone becoming ill-prepared preppers, if that spending spree had a benefit, just ticked us over, you might have only had contained the economic decline to this quarter. And here's the question, could they pull it back out of this quarter? Technically, just by printing money, inflating away anything, could they have done it? What's going to happen when JobKeeper and mortgage holidays disappear too in the quarter after? I still think they're gonna find a way to continue it or stretch it out or do something. It shows that Australians are earning less and saving more, a combination that rings economists' alarm bells. Treasurer Josh Frydenberg bashed it away in today's press conference. People are feeling uncertain, and when people feel uncertain about the economic climate, they save more. I think that's the end of it, he said. Well, true, he's got a point. Consumer confidence can change in a whim, can change in a few days. Individually, it can change. We'll have to see. If you start seeing more activity, getting more positive happenstance, some circumstances could change. We'll have to see if this housing stimulus and construction activity there, if that flows on, if that pulls up consumer confidence. But for economists, that's one of the telling signs that an economy is in big trouble. People are earning less but saving more, and traditionally that's a very dangerous sign. Indeed's chief economist Callum Pickering said, "Well, that's the thing. They may not be able to get the market going again. Are we pumping money out left, right, and center?" It's often the cause of recessions. A recession at its core is a situation where people are spending less than they used to. One of the biggest challenges in the economy is encouraging people to spend. The nation's household saving rate inched higher to 5.5% in the March quarter, the highest since the September quarter of 2016. With concerns over job security and the economic outlook, along with shutdowns that made spending more difficult, it is only natural that households are cautious and reluctant to spend. One of the biggest challenges as the economy emerges from the lockdown will be encouraging households and businesses to spend as they did pre-crisis. High savings and lower incomes has always been a troubling combination. And there's the question, there's the thing we all need to consider. How many of you have changed your spending habits because of this? How many people have given up on the Uber Eats, have given up on the takeaway, and have started eating at home, saving money, gone, damn, why do I have all this extra cash sitting here? How many people have had to adjust to a reduced income from the JobKeeper? And maybe they're realizing, oh, wait a minute, this is actually working out really well. Oh, look, I'm not stressed. Stress has gone down. Hopefully. I think we'll see some behavioral changes. They'll have to do everything they can to encourage people to spend. But there'll be some businesses that won't survive, guys. That's just part of a recession. That's the clearing out of some of the dead weight. And the sad thing is there's going to be some people that will be put on unemployed and will never get back in. And you need to find other opportunities, other ways to create an income. And that's the challenge. Because it gets harder the older you get too, everyone. While some economists believed that the panic buying in the March quarter might save the economy from recording 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth, the technical definition of a recession, it wasn't enough. Overall, that sort of panic buying is very visible, but it's only a small portion of spending. They really narrowed down spending to absolute essentials, Mr. Pickering said. Propping up the nation's household spending was a range of stimulus payments rolled out, including $750 for the pandemic stimulants to welfare recipients. As the Morrison government reviews the $1,500 a fortnight JobKeeper allowance that will run until September 27th, the Treasurer also flagged potential changes to the size of the subsidy. We want to understand whether the quantum, the $1,500 payment, continues to be the right amount, he said. Also bearing in mind that some people are getting paid more than they would otherwise be getting by virtue of having a flat payment. Rebuilding confidence in the economy is vital, which is one of the reasons why the Treasurer highlighted the resilience of the Australian economy. As the Treasurer pointed out, Australia's performance in the March quarter compares to an even more dire negative growth overseas, including 9.8% in China and 5.3% in France, 2.2% in Germany, 2% in UK, 1.3% in the United States. Well, yeah, see, this is the thing. The dollar's shooting up. Comparing us to some of the other places in the world, we're looking pretty good. You know, the social unrest here isn't the same as other nations. Not by any measure. The US is just going down, crazy hole at the moment with everything that's going on over there. So that is an advantage. Sure, we have a level of sovereign risk with our state, but it isn't comparable to some other nations. We'll have to see. They're going to throw everything they can to keep the economy going, to rebuild confidence. What would it take to give you confidence to spend? With 40 million jobless claims in America over the last 10 weeks, the economic situation in that country and across the globe is quite severe indeed, Mr. Frydenberg said. In Australia's remarkable story of almost 29 consecutive years of economic growth, this is only the 4th negative quarter in that time. Less than 100 days ago, our nation was on the edge of an economic cliff. Treasury was contemplating a fall in GDP of more than 20% in the June quarter. This was the economist's version of Armageddon. While fear of a lockdown saw panic buying of food and household items, total consumption fell by 1.1% in the quarter, the largest quarterly decline in consumption in 34 years. People buying food, pharmaceutical goods for their home computer at home, as well as preparing for the lockdown, saw a rise in consumption for goods. And home gym equipment too. Understand that's gone up. That's going to affect gym memberships, so people are going to go back to the gyms if they've got this set up at home. I tell you, I'm finding it much easier just to have. I've got my setup. I've literally got a slab in the yard. I put a little gazebo over it, and I got my outdoor gym. And I, frankly, okay, so some of the weights may rust over a year. It doesn't matter. You're lifting up the metal. It's easier for me with a family and the kids to just do it quickly and then to go and come back. And you've got to see this lockdown as an opportunity to build your different stacks of skills. What have you done? Maybe that's a topic for another video, something more positive. But the 2.5% fall in services reflects that people weren't going out to cafes or restaurants, weren't booking in hotels, and weren't taking transport. This is the story of what's happening in the economy, as we saw panic buying in our supermarkets, but we saw people increasingly staying at home. One of the big items we spent more money on was booze, which rose by more than 3%. Well, that's Australia for you. If you're staying at home, strictly speaking, the Treasurer could have waited until the June quarter figures were released to confirm 2 quarters of negative growth and a recession, but he chose not to pretend when asked, is Australia in a recession? Well, the answer to that is yes, he said. And good, and kudos to him. I respect him for saying that now. It's obvious, everyone's aware of it, he's not politicking, and, well, it'll give them justification for some of the measures that they feel they need to implement. What do you think, guys? What does this tell you? How do you think they will encourage spending? Do you think they're going to start handing out money left, right, and center to start pushing it out? Get people spending. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Are you going to jump out there, or are you going to keep holding on? As always, thank you for watching. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan, you like this content, there are a few ways you can help. You can simply share the videos, comment, subscribe, help the algorithm. It really helps a lot. You can also support us via joining the channel on YouTube or Patreon for a small monthly fee. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and KuCoin. You can buy merch from High As It Says. You can support us using Gold Pass from the Perth Mint or via PayPal. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.